Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Good evening, I'm Sean Preble, and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. St. Clair College held an open house this past weekend, and reporter Cameron Chaucy was there to bring us this story.
On Saturday, April 2nd, St. Clair College held its annual spring open house. Each campus, including our very own MediaPlex, opened their doors to the public, inviting prospective students to tour facilities and meet the staff. They were also invited to try out the Plex's equipment under the guiding hand of journalism and media students.
Many of them have already applied to come into the program, and those who were not sure when they came in were very sure when they left. And I think that's because they're able to see that coming into the MediaPlex means that you're actually coming into a living, working newsroom.
Some might remain uncertain of their next step, and others have their minds already made up.
I've always been a fan of the news. I've always liked the radio. I've always liked television. I don't read many papers, but I do like reading articles. My family stopped subscribing to the paper years ago just because of when they go to work, but I am an avid fan of the news. At Walkerville, I do the announcements every day that I can possible. I like spreading information. I like telling people about what's happening in the world.
Regardless of what the future might have in store, we wish all prospective students luck moving forward. This is Cameron Chaucy from MediaPlex News Now.
On this sunny evening, let's go down to the corner of University in Victoria where Alana Wills is standing by. Alana?
Yes, it is bright and sunny out, but don't let that fool you. As you can see by the jacket I'm wearing, it's still unseasonably cool out and I'm shivering out here. Right now, we're sitting at 2 degrees Celsius. Overnight, we can expect some flurries and a low of -1. Tune back later in the show when I'll be back with first a special guest and then the extended 3-day forecast. Sean?
Thanks, Alana. Playoff hockey is the topic of this edition of 3 Minutes With. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Christian Bouchard, and today we're spending 3 minutes with defenseman of the Essex 73s and defending Schmaltz Cup champion, Matt Rosati. Matt, thanks for being here.
No problem.
So Matt, this is currently your 3rd year with the Essex 73s. Clearly you know the dominance that is the Essex 73s Junior C hockey team. 5th consecutive season of making the semifinals of the Schmaltz Cup Championship. So, Matt, I gotta ask you, what has ultimately led to this team's success?
I think we just do a great job recruiting year after year. Young kids coming in looking for just a 1 or 2 year stop in C before going to B. That affiliation with Leamington really helps, and we've, like you said, made it far, play about 70 games every year, so it's good for development. And even older guys coming out of midget, just looking for a place to play out. There's nowhere better, the off-ice perks, the crews, all that. It's just a great place.
Right. And actually, even in order to get to where you guys are today, I know that you kind of had, let's call it an emotional series, being an Amherstburg native, having to play the Integrity Amherstburg Admirals in a 7-game series. How emotional of a series was that for you? Because I know that you kind of have a close relationship with guys like Blaine Bayshard on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Amherstburg, those guys coached me. I've got a lot of relationships. I've played with a lot of guys, and it was definitely fun. Heat of the moment, league final, you're not going to let up. You're going to hit each other and you get the chance and stuff like that. But looking back, it's definitely different. I liked it, and glad to get the bragging rights for sure.
Right. And you know what? Your team is definitely phenomenal for overcoming adversity. Speaking of that, right after Game 3, league MVP and Trevor Wheaton's given a suspension, and you guys obviously overcame that by winning the league. But yet you guys are still trying to overcome a bit of adversity with some key injuries. How are you guys going to use those injuries and maybe use that to excel your play?
Yeah, well, you heard it from the beginning of the year, it was all about our depth. We pride ourselves on depth, and aside from special teams, we try to just roll our lines and get everyone going. So, when guys go out, it just opens the door, next man up mentality, step up. And obviously when Weedy went down, Badur came in cold and did a great job throwing him in the fire there with 2-2 series, league final. And I think we really rallied behind him as well. played tighter as a team. The way the suspension went down, and speaks to the depth and the character we have in our locker room.
Right. So as mentioned previously, this is your third year. So clearly you know what it takes to win a Schmaltz Cup. But now we got to ask you on camera, what exactly do you guys need to do to win this second consecutive Schmaltz Cup?
Like you said earlier, we've made it this far 5 years in a row. So the systems we got in place are working. We got to stick to that and believe in our coaches. But end of the day, when you get this far, Final Four, Final Two teams, the skill level, the talent's there. It's all about, winning those little battles, blocking shots and taking hits and stuff, just really wanting it more than the other team.
Right. And perhaps yet another player who's not really getting as much recognition as they should, being the fan base in Essex, definitely one of the most passionate fan bases. How much of an impact are they going to have in this quest towards another Schmaltz Cup?
Oh, it's huge. You can just feel it. I feel like we're a different team at home. We really, when the crowd gets a chant going or make a big play, it definitely helps us out. We feel more comfortable out there.
Right. And last question, because I know a lot of fans were wondering, and I'm kind of wondering myself too, Matt. Have you made a decision as to whether or not you're going to come back next year, suit up for the 73s?
I definitely want to, but you can only keep 4 OAs, and we got 7 really good 95s. So, I want to, but the coaches definitely have a tough decision on their hand. We're trying not to think of it, just focus on getting that ring this year.
All right. And thank you so much for being here, Matt. Definitely excited to see you in a 73s uniform, potentially next season. Thanks for watching. I'm Christian Bouchard, and this has been 3 Minutes with Matthew Rosati.
Mental health is a topic our high schools take very seriously. Shelby Hernandez explains.
Teachers are trained to be educators, but oftentimes they find themselves playing the role of mom, dad, social worker, counselor.
Teachers and guidance counselors work hard to encourage school involvement and eliminating bullying, but staff are limited in how much they can help, especially with more severe mental health issues. Public Relations Officer for the Greater Essex County District School Board, Scott Scantlebury, says that there are mental health nurses and psychologists available for students who need some help. However, they only provide help for short-term mental health issues, and some are only available on an all-call basis. That is why Scantlebury says it is often up to teachers and guidance counselors to identify when they think they see a larger mental health problem. Teresa Piskovic at W.F. Herman Secondary School says staff always communicate with each other about the issues they may see. But the more important part is to know what role each person plays.
We have to be realistic about where our backgrounds and our expertise is, and be able to recognize when it's something that does really need something more than what could be provided by, a guidance counselor or a child and youth worker or someone in-house.
Scantlebury says mental illness in schools has definitely increased and more resources are needed.
It's got to be a cooperative effort, not just with the public sector in health and education, but the private sector as well.
According to Scantlebury, the Ministry of Education is hosting a mental health summit in April. He says the Greater Essex County District School Board will definitely be putting a team together to attend. For MediaPlex News, I'm Shelby Hernandez.
Alana Wills is standing outside where a special guest has dropped by. Alana?
Thanks, Sean. I'm standing here with Luciana Rusuzieza, the Interim Executive Director of BANA. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So explain to our viewers, what is BANA?
So BANA is a nonprofit organization. We treat and diagnose people with eating disorders, as well as we do a lot of prevention work in the schools and trying to prevent eating disorders. We've been around for 33 years.
And what does BANA stand for?
So BANA stands for Bulimia, Anorexia, Nervosa Association.
So we've been hearing a lot about the A4 Waste Challenge lately. Explain what that is and how it's dangerous.
Sure. So the A4 Waste Challenge actually started in China, and it's actually a challenge that has been really very live and robust on social media, and it's really essentially getting a piece of paper and putting it in front of your waist, so a regular piece of paper that's 21 centimeters, and if your waist actually fits within the size of that piece of paper, you're deemed fit or thin enough. Most people obviously don't fit into that type of measurement, and so there's a lot of really horrifying things actually happening out of this challenge.
That's very sad to hear that. What has BANA been doing in response?
So BANA in response has done a number of things. One of them is doing some media outreach, and so that's been great, and getting other people involved in terms of stopping this challenge, which I think is really important, as well as we've actually created a video, and you can actually find it on our website at bana.ca, and it's a great video because we actually took pieces of paper, and anywhere from as small as a stick-it note to as large as a chart paper, and said just a piece of paper, because we know that paper comes in all shapes and sizes, and so do people.
What can the public do to get involved in fighting this challenge?
Absolutely. So I think that parents and any influencer can talk to young people about it, and I think it's important to communicate the message that it is very dangerous. It's a dangerous practice. It's unattainable and unrealistic. We also actually launched a website recently. It's www.positiveinfluencer.ca, and it's really for any type of adult influencer. So a parent, a grandparent, a social worker, medical professional, youth worker, anybody can get actually really great information and resources.
And that website sounds amazing, but unfortunately social media sometimes has the opposite effect. How has social media impacted people's body image?
Absolutely. So I think social media can be a very positive thing, but it definitely has negative implications. I think some of it is just around a lot of comparisons are done, I guess, via social media. People post the best of themselves, and we know that people filter their pictures as well as, they Photoshop, and they have all kinds of filters and opportunities on their phones, and then they post those pictures and they compare themselves to pictures that they've actually filtered or photoshopped, and then their peers actually compare themselves to those pictures as well. And it's also about literally that lifestyle, right, or the likes, or how many likes am I getting, or comments versus other people and things like that. So it can have a definite negative impact on body image and how you feel about yourself.
Okay. And very quickly, how can people get involved in your website?
People can get involved by checking out bana.ca. We actually have an upcoming walk May 23rd, so if anybody's interested, please feel free to check out our website.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. Back to you in the studio, Sean.
Thanks, Alana. After more than 60 years of serving the residents of Windsor, the celebrated home of Oktoberfest is closing. Video journalist Taylor Bush spoke with its members to find out more.
It is a somber mood at the Teutonia Club of Windsor, where its days of serving Windsor's German population are winding down. With only a handful of events left, including its farewell banquet on May 1st, Club President Christine Erdman says it will be a bittersweet goodbye.
The building is going to stand. I'm told it's going to have a complete facelift from the outside and inside. So that'll be interesting. It'll be a little sad, but at the same time, it'll be their home.
Erdman says the building's new owners plan to turn it into a medical center, and they may choose to honor its German roots down the road.
We're working close together. Again, it's a good partnership, and we wish him well with his endeavor as well.
Young club member and bartender Carla Bedoin says she has not worked for the club very long, but was extremely saddened by the news.
It's going to be such a different place if they do renovate versus tearing down. Like, we don't know what their plans are going to be, but it will be very sad. There's a lot of history in this building.
Erdman says many of the groups who rented the building over the years want to remain part of the Teutonia Club at the new hall, but others who could not be accommodated by the Fogelar are worried they may not be able to find or afford a new home.
Most of the time you might be able to rent an hour, maybe 2 hours. Plus we need storage. So that's another setback any place else, is the fact that a lot of places don't have storage. So as of right now, we haven't found one yet.
Erdman says the manager of the Fogelar Club is open to flying the German flag permanently and will allow them to immediately begin baking and selling their prized pretzels from their new hall in June. She also says the club's historical artifacts will be displayed at the Fogelar, while others will be auctioned off on the 1st or given to the downtown Windsor Library.
We are still carrying on our heritage. Teutonia is just a building. It's the building of Teutonia, the home of Oktoberfest, as we always called it. But we are keeping our charter, and our heritage will continue on.
She believes with a new, eager board who are ready to get started and many young members coming up through the ranks, the Teutonia Club has a bright future ahead with many opportunities to come.
We're really not a dying club. We are still moving forward. We'll just be under the umbrella of the Fogelar, and it'll take a little bit of getting used to, but I think with an open mind going there, that we can make it happen.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Taylor Bush.
There are some changes being made to Adventure Bay Water Park. Jonathan Martin reports.
Windsor's $78 million aquatic complex isn't making enough money to keep its doors open. The complex is split into two sections, the Adventure Bay Family Water Park and the Windsor International Aquatic and Training Center. The Adventure Bay portion of the facility hasn't been seeing enough walk-in business to meet its operational costs. As of Monday, March 21st, Adventure Bay cut its hours by 25% to help reduce its losses. Jennifer Knights manages both Adventure Bay and the Aquatic Center.
Over March break, we were seeing in general between 1,400 and 1,600 people per day, which we like to see. Sometimes during the work week or the school week, we were seeing numbers of between 25 and 50 people in the water park, and certainly we need to have more than that.
Kim Geniak received an annual pass as a gift from her grandmother. The pass expired a few months ago, but Geniak says she has no plans of renewing it.
And maybe during the summer we might try and get out there, but so it's like we have our things that we're trying to save for, and I can take the kids on the bike path around here and get right to the Ballmer Center in not a lot of time.
Knights says she's expecting many people to follow Geniak's plan. She's going to return Adventure Bay to its normal operating hours at the end of the school year. Until then, she says she's actively working on ways to add value to those who still have an annual pass. Adventure Bay is now open Thursday through Sunday. For MediaPlex News, I'm Jonathan Martin.
Let's head back outside one more time where weather specialist Alana Wills will fill us in on the 3-day forecast. What's on for the rest of the week, Alana?
Thanks, Sean. Well, to start off our 3-day forecast, how about a fun weather fact? Like, did you know that rain actually contains vitamin B12? Well, you might be able to get some of those vitamins tomorrow, as we can expect some mixed precipitation with a high of 11 and a low of 2. Thursday, we will see a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 4 and a low of -2. And finally, on Friday, more vitamins with some snow or rain showers with a high of 4 and a low of -4. That's it for me from the corner of University and Victoria. Back to you in the studio, Sean.
Thanks, Alana. Speaking of water, compared to other places such as Flint, our water source seems to be secure. Reporter Mark Brown tells us more.
Water, a necessity of life. A necessity that is hard to come by for people in Flint, Michigan, where a change in water sources has led to multiple problems. But one single source has always provided Windsor with its water needs. That source has been around for hundreds of thousands of years before there even was a Windsor, the Detroit River. The Detroit River is part of the St. Lawrence Seaway, the biggest system of fresh water in the world, and it's the primary source of water for the two motor cities.
We're very fortunate here that we have an abundant supply of good water.
Barbara Pierce Marshall is the Director of Corporate Communications for NWIN, water supplier for the city. She says unlike the water supply in Flint, lead occurrences in Windsor's water tend to be caused by home infrastructure.
Lead pipes in the house, brass fittings with lead content, that sort of thing, that are not part of our distribution system.
Windsor's distribution system is a network of pipes and mains that one way or another lead to one central plant, the Weeks Water Treatment Plant in Ford City. Here, water is drawn in from the river through pumps, treated, and fed through a filtration system that exceeds Ontario quality standards and has been named one of the best in the province. Trained technicians and chemists monitor the system constantly, but Marshall says residents will easily get answers to any questions.
If a resident has a concern of any type at any time, they can always call our call center. From there, it would be a question of talking to somebody knowledgeable inside the company who would be able to advise them about whether or not they may have a problem.
Water problems in Windsor are few and far between, and residents can rest easy knowing their water is safe. For MediaPlex News, I'm Mark Brown.
Reporter Alana Wills tells us about two young ladies who spearheaded a water drive to help out our neighbors in Flint.
At just 11 years old, Ella Morrow and Jada Malott are already making a big difference. The St. John Vianney Elementary School students came up with the idea of organizing a school-wide water bottle donation for Flint, Michigan.
Saw on the news that these
people have been drinking this water that's so unsafe and people getting so sick. So we thought it would be a good idea to, as a community, donate water and as a school and encourage other schools to do the same.
Flint made international headlines earlier in the year when their water supply was switched from the Detroit water system to the Flint River. Toxic levels of lead were then found in the water supply, and a federal state of emergency was declared in the Michigan city. The pair say they hope to collect around 1,000 cases of water to donate.
Extremely proud. I mean, this is what we strive for when we have students who take it upon themselves to kind of reach out beyond their own little individual bubble or school bubble and want to help others. That's what it's all about.
The community is encouraged to bring donations to the school, or arrangements can be made to have them picked up.
We are also letting people in the community come at school hours to bring cases of water to our school, and we also know that our school is very giving, and we are almost positive that we will reach our goal.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Alana Wills.
A local restaurant is making a name for itself on the Food Network. Denise Palaccia explains.
One local burger joint is extending its reach outside the Rose City. Bubby's Awesome Eats made its debut on the Food Network 5 years ago. Now it's Mamo Burger's turn. Ryan Odette, owner of Mamo Burger, says he's worked hard to make his establishment successful.
Well, I think it helps to show that, there are great restaurants in Windsor, and the Food Network is interested in showing these restaurants on their network.
Mamo Burger waitress Erica Tremblay says she's excited for the attention the burger joint will get.
Big spike in business, which is good. And it opens the horizon for everybody to see, like what we do here, and people can come from other places to come see, because I know we're talked about like other than just Windsor.
Even the employees at Mamo Burger can't help but to have a favorite dish.
Personal, probably the popper. I love spicy stuff, so.
Mamo Burger does offer other foods. However, at this restaurant, it's all about the burger. Mamo Burger will appear on the Food Network representing Windsor April 15th at 9 p.m. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Denise Palaccia.
SRC President Miranda Underwood spoke with Alyssa Horobin in studio today on another edition of 3 Minutes With.
I'm here in the studio today with Miranda Underwood, President of the Student Representative Council. Thank you for coming in today, Miranda.
Thanks for having me, Alyssa.
So you've been on the board for the last 2 years. Could you describe what that's looked like for you?
So I started on the board as a director in my final year of public relations, and then I became the vice president of student life, which was fantastic. It was a really cool aspect, so I focused on the culture of student life on campus, and I got to use a lot of my skills from public relations, so communications, event planning, and just general PR of the organization and our college. And then I was kind of inspired from that and really wanted to continue on my role. So for the last year, I've been a president in a full-time capacity.
So what's it like working for the college?
It's fantastic. I love this college. I bleed St. Clair everywhere, I swear. So I get the opportunity to, with being on student council, I travel to a lot of different colleges, and we have a really unique campus, and I like that a lot. We're growing. It's nice. It's a small community too, so a lot of the students that you're in college with, you know somehow, and we all kind of stay here. So, and they're fantastic. The faculty, the administration, everyone's really behind you 110%.
So what are some highlights of this year? What's been your favorite parts?
The whole year has just been incredible. Being a part of some of the big changes on a provincial level has been amazing. Having the federal election, having the candidates at our campus for me was kind of really awesome. We finished phase 1 of renovations. We've completely changed phase 2 based on student feedback. So that's been incredible. I mean, I think the whole experience has just been beyond anything I could have imagined. So I'm really proud of this college and its students, and I'm really proud of my fellow board mates.
Could you tell me a little bit about what the SRC does, like how it's involved with the college?
Absolutely. So the SRC is the Student Representative Council, so we're the voice on campus, and we provide non-athletics programs and services. So I think a lot of students think that we just do programming efforts and we're kind of the fun party people, but we also give you guys a voice, not even just within the institution. So we help with class rep, so we create that program. We advocate on an institutional level for students. We do grade appeals too, so if you have academic concerns, but we bring that bigger. So we also advocate on a provincial level. So things like the provincial and federal budget announcements, slight changes as far as Colleges Ontario is concerned. We're kind of always behind the students. And then of course we do the programming, the fun stuff. We also run a food bank on campus. We provide the computer center, so lots of services to make sure that you guys can excel as well. And we're really just here to be your voice, right?
Yeah. So what is next for you after this year? I mean, you have a new president coming in, so will you still stay involved with the college?
Hopefully I'll stay involved to some capacity, but I think one of the valuable things is being able to let go and understand and trust that that organization is in really good hands, and I know it is with Jeff. So I'm excited to watch them flourish next year and see what they're going to do. It's going to be a fresh set of ears and eyes too, so you always watch it progress. But for me personally, I'm apparently going to be a professional student. I love school so much, so I'm going to go to Wayne State and work on getting my degree, and we'll see what else lines up with that.
Cool. So any words of wisdom for Jeff?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned this year, or the two biggest things, is one, don't ask or expect something from someone that you haven't done yourself or aren't willing to do. I think that goes a long way with building respect amongst the board. And then the next thing is just always remember why you're here, right? And it's for the students at the end of the day. So it's easy to get caught up in other things, but you got to listen, right?
Right. Well, thank you so much for your time. We're out of time now, but we've just spent 3 minutes with Miranda Underwood, President of the Student Representative Council for St. Clair College.
The YMCA is relocating its athletic center. We sent reporter Alex Latramui to find out more.
Construction on the YMCA's new athletic facility is well underway. Located on Central Avenue, the multi-million-dollar building will include a pool, indoor turf, and batting cages, and will replace the area's ice park. The Y's general manager, Andy Sullivan, said they're relocating because demand for their downtown athletic center has diminished.
It wasn't sustainable for us to be downtown anymore. So, we really looked at things, and the fitness side of things was really suffering, and we weren't making the impact in the community as much as we wanted to.
However, according to Jackie Rumiel, the VP of Newcomer and Community Services at the Y, only the athletic services will be moving to Central.
Our newcomer programs will be remaining at 500 Victoria, downtown Windsor. We really feel that this is where the newcomers are, and this is where the services need to remain. So we will continue to offer our English classes each day, Monday through Friday, and we will also be offering our settlement program and our youth programs. So they will both be down here as well.
For those who just want to spend more time at the gym, not to worry. With a grand opening set for early September, the Y will be back. For MediaPlex News, I'm Alex Latramui.
The resumes of well-known athletes make the client list at KPS Gym impressive. Ryan Blevins brings us the details.
One of Windsor's up-and-coming athletic facilities is reaching a milestone. King's Performance System Gym, located in the Sandwich Teen Action Group building in Windsor's Sandwichtown district, has been training athletes for around 1 year. Founded by a local high school football player with aspirations of becoming a trainer, King's Performance Systems, or KPS, is now home to a laundry list of athletes. Jake Francis Taylor is the founder of King's Performance Systems and knows the struggles of becoming a young entrepreneur.
Biggest thing is just always trying to target the right audience. Location makes it a little bit harder, so you always got to target the right audience in each location, and then just make sure you get it across that what we're trying to do, and it's not a money grab.
A Barwis Methods certified coach, Francis Taylor, has worked with athletes at all levels, including professional and collegiate. 16 current NFL or CFL players and 3 Super Bowl champions have trained with Francis Taylor, leading student athletes like Dominic Johnson to flock to KPS.
Oh, it's gonna be faster, stronger, smarter too, if that makes sense to you. And especially with football too. This isn't just for football. This is for any sport, even just yourself.
One thing is for certain, the best is yet to come for King's Performance System Gym. For MediaPlex News, I'm Ryan Blevins.
Thanks for tuning in. For my final time, I'm Sean Preble, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.